Okay, it looks good. Looks like we're rolling. Hi, greetings, dear Sagittarius. This is you, and it's coming from Terra Lumination, and it is your February 2019 mini generic love and relationship report. Okay, now you know the routine. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. Some people even watch for their Venus sign if you know that stuff. So we're going to use the Terra Illumination Crucible spread. I'm just going to show you. Excuse me, hold on, cards. We'll come back to you in just a moment. And I want to give you an idea. I know it should be in a museum, or an art gallery. I know that. I know you don't. So here's the thing. I call it the crucible spread. I've been trying to describe it with words, but I thought I would give you an illustration using a Terra Illumination doodle, okay? So from the Terra Illumination perspective, there's a lot more going on than just you and the other party, okay? Think of this is the card, and the other weather card here. With Terra Illumination, there's you, there's the other, and then there's this thing, the relationship itself, which is this whole living thing. And from Terra Illumination perspective, it's like a crucible. And the crucibles are designed to withstand intense pressures as we intimate and separate in the context of relationship, okay? As we do that, inside this thing that we own. And so the nature of the relationship is very, very important. It's something that you guys own, and it's like a little business or a family farm or something like that, or a little potted plant or whatever, or a child, and you're living it and you're growing it. And in a very loving relationship, both parties are aware of that, and they conduct everything through the relationship. Like, what are we doing today, dear? What are we doing today, dear? In current context of our relationship stuff. Oh, okay. So as opposed to how a lot of us operate, which is like, one-to-one. What can I get out of you? What are you trying to get out of me? What can I get out of you? What are you trying to get out of me? And so on and so on. So there's a lot more going on here. And we need to know the nature of the crucible too, okay? So I hope this helps a little bit, all right? Let's see, let's get on. Now the cards are already well shuffled in advance, but I want to go to the last second so that you're a witness, okay? And what I also like to do is invite you to check out all the links below in the description box when you have a moment. There's a lot more going on here besides the reports. And it's easier just to check the links, quite honestly, especially regarding membership. Also, for February 2019, I really invite you to check out the Terra Illumination Astrodoodles. It's a totally separate playlist. I'm not going to weave in a lot of astrology with this reading now. I'll give you a couple of notes, but the rest of it, you're just going to have to go to the other playlist. Otherwise, these videos get so long, it's just too much for people. So anyway, here we go. Cards are already well shuffled in advance. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. I'm sorry about that. I just love the cards the way they're made. And right now we're using the most elementary deck. It's a beautiful deck. This particular deck has actually done thousands of readings, and it's still going strong, but eventually it will need to be retired. We're going to auction it off. So bless every single card in the deck. Bless you, Sagittarius. Bless Terra Illumination and the whole platform that we can even do this at all, okay? So here we go. Please keep that image in mind of the doodle that I showed you earlier. This would be you, Sagittarius. What are you radiating, okay? Singles, you can even watch this if you want to, if you allow for the laws of attraction. You are pulsing and radiating energy all day. You are absorbing energy all day, just like a smartphone that's on all the time. And so what are you putting out? What are you radiating outwards? And then what is being attracted back to you? I hope you thought about that one. Anyway, over here is the other, okay? Deep inside of you, okay? Deep inside of the other. And then at the core, the relationship itself. So can you see the crucible here? This is the structure. And what is being fermented here, okay? And then we're going to look at circumstantial environmental influences. I like to call it the weather. I didn't mention that earlier. I'm sorry. This whole thing has an aura, okay? There's the aura over there. This is all about the aura, okay? So it's very important to understand that you guys own this thing, and the whole thing has its own aura. And this is the external energy. What's out there? What are you radiating? What's being bounced back and reflected and attracted back to you? Okay, so let's get started. we have the Page of Wands. So from my perspective, this is very encouraging. I like to see that. It might be just convenient because Aquarian energy is very compatible and fun and livening for you. So it is appropriate. Now just remember, halfway through the month or later on, everything switches into the Pisces energy, which can be in some ways quite a challenge for you. I'll just go to the charts. I'm just going to do it very quickly here. This is about all we're going to do with the Astrodoodles, okay? Go to the other playlist. It's a completely separate playlist, okay? This is the full moon, okay? It's in the middle of the month, and it's right on some very tight, hard angles here to do with your home and your destiny, okay? So just bear that in mind. That's quite challenging for you, for all Sagittarians. Also, I would like you to pay close attention around the 13th and the 14th of the month when the moon is in Gemini, your opposition. It's a wobbly month, and you might, all I'm asking is pay attention to the doubts, the fears, the shadows, the rumblings of what's going on in relationship, okay? You still have Jupiter here protecting you, so it can't be that bad. All right, let's get going. So with the Page of Wands, my feeling is that despite whatever challenges you're sensing, despite whatever challenges are out there, you're going to be fine. You're stepping forward with the best of intentions, and the innocence becomes irrelevant because we're all innocent to some degree or other. No matter how much wisdom you might have accumulated in your life, whether you've been around for decades or whether you're a teenager or in your 20s or 30s, no matter. Sagittarius are naturally wisdom seekers, okay? And this is no different. This is, my feeling is this, your circumstantial energy outside of you, around the relationship, around the other party, is very conducive for you to get deeper into your journey, okay? And with passion, with gusto. So if that includes being in the relationship in that manner, then that's good too. In other words, grab your partner by the hand and let's go for it. Let's see, what are you radiating here? Okay, well, this is sort of contradictory to what I was just babbling about. So with the Hermit here, my feeling is that it's almost like you're being thrust into an environment which you know is good for you. Like going into the relationship dynamics, the way we just talked about, think of it as an adventure going forward, and you're coming in a little bit innocent, and everything's like got this bubbly energy of renewal, which is exciting because we have the February new moon in Aquarius over here in your area of communications, okay? So to me, that's very encouraging, but when we look at it this way, there is something around that's happening in this storyline here, in this relationship dynamic, which is bringing this up to the surface where you're starting to realize, well, wait a minute. What relationship? Why do I feel so alone? Why do I feel I am going to have to go deep within and search stuff out and figure things out for myself, as opposed to learning, expanding, and growing in the context of reflection and mirroring that comes back from the significant other in the relationship? So I'm not going to guess anything here. I'm not going to project into the reading, but if you're in a relationship, you know that you can do that. That happens with people. You can be with someone for 10 years and you're sleeping with them every night, 8 hours a night or something. And then you wake up and you look at them and like, who are you? How did this happen? Why do I feel so remarkably alone? It's a very weird sensation. If any of you have ever encountered that, then you will know what we're talking about. What about, in other words, it's almost like, how did I get to this place where I am relating and there's someone relating with me, and yet I am in a state of isolation where I don't really have anywhere to turn except myself? And the whole idea about being in a relationship, and one of the most valuable components is the mirror. You put out energy, stuff gets reflected back to you. The mirror of relationship could arguably be the most valuable component of any and all relationships. Parents to children, men to women, men to men, women to women, countries to countries, doctors to doctors to patients, students, to all of that stuff. It's so important, the mirroring aspect. And what is reflected back to us, what is reflected from them to you. And you might not be getting it. It's almost like this doesn't exist, okay? I'm not trying to, diss them or anything. Remember, by the way, Sag, this is not a couples reading. It's all about you. We're allowing for their energy to be here. And, okay, let's just have a look. Okay, let's just have a look. Okay, so with the sun energy over here, it's a beautiful card in its own right. But when I look at it this way, dear Sagittarius, with what's already started in the story, it's like I'm watching a streaming movie or something, and everything starts off where we have certain energies that are actually really beneficial and conducive for you to be happy, preferably happy in the context of relationship. And yet we have this, okay? I'm not saying that this is an unhappy card. All I'm doing is suggesting that this is an energy of profound individualization, profound isolation, and having nowhere to go except within. And a lot of people don't like to do that. They want to find their answers out there. They want to outsource their life. They want to outsource and blame and project everything out there rather than having to deal with who they are as the individual in their completion and their complexity. And so, when I see the sun over here, Sagittarius, in its full brilliance and glory, my feeling is that this energy has almost zero concern for you. I'm not. I'm just telling you how things come up when I do these readings, Sag. It's like watching a movie, and I'm trying to capture the subtitles and get them across to you as fast as I can. So when I see this here, my feeling is that they're just fine in their own way, as far as they're concerned, almost to the point where they might be oblivious of anything and everyone else around them because they're just happy being who they are. And that's almost like, the energy of children. Like, it doesn't matter if there's a bomb or screaming arguments going on everywhere. Children are incredibly resilient. Yes, they will feel the shock of negative experiences, but children can often be very, very good at finding ways to be happy anyway. They'll, kick a football around, or they'll play silly games with each other, even though they're traumatized inside. Children are like that. So you might be relating with someone who has a very, very almost impervious nature of joy, where it doesn't matter what's happening to you or the relationship because they're just happy being who they are. And whatever is happening with anyone and everyone else is really not their concern. I mean, the sun lights up anything and everything around it. It's almost an idiot-proof card, but it almost like feels like I sense a high degree of isolation here, even though these are like amazing cards in their own right. So to me, it feels like it's putting the crucible under a lot of pressure. Like, we intimate, we separate, we intimate, we separate. And right now it feels to me as though, despite this, and despite the Aquarian energy being quite comfortable for you, I think we're already heading into a period of discomfort where whatever, if we go in cycles, it kind of goes like this, and it's just almost like, whoa, oh, whoa, where does that leave me? Where does that leave me if they're all happy over here? Oh, like whether I'm around or not. In other words, am I relevant? Who am I in this relationship? What am I doing here? Who are they? What are they doing here? It's great that they're happy. It's fine. But this is weird for me. Okay, let's keep going. What about deep inside of you? Okay, so with the Tower here, Sagittarius, deep down, if you feel that there are some huge like disruptions and cataclysmic changes that are going on in your life that you actually can't explain, I really don't want to get into this here, but I'm just going to give you a glimpse. Jupiter's there, and it's expanding everything that's great for you, Sagittarius, but it's also expanding anything that's not working for you, okay? So you might be just going through a period, especially towards the middle of the month, where you're going to discover an awful lot about what doesn't work for you in this relationship, where that full moon towards the middle end could be a very, let's say, tumultuous time period for you. Okay, so please allow for that. And then later on, so all right, let's just keep going. Okay, let's just keep going. What about deep inside of them? Okay, well, okay, this is kind of like to me, it feels like ping pong. Like if you are experiencing yourself and the other party in the context of a relationship where there's some kind of profound cataclysmic shift like in tectonic plates where everything that you knew is kind of crumbling, but you don't have a glimpse of like the good stuff and the new stuff yet. It's almost like being caught out by a tsunami because you never saw the Weather Channel or you didn't watch Terralumination reports or something like that. And then deep down, you're feeling these intense rumblings and almost like not knowing what to handle it. These are major cards here. And so it could very much feel as though you're getting swept along by fate. So if I could get, I could get really complicated for you if I wanted to here, Sagittarius, regarding the Pisces energy with Neptune and everything like that. It's just, I don't want to get into it here. Okay. Deep rumblings, deep shakings in the foundations of your world. Okay, let's just leave it at that, which permeates and has like shock waves throughout the rest of all of this. In other words, because of what's happening over with Neptune in Pisces, it's affecting the very, very foundations of the crucible. Like everything is like going, whoa, whoa, that kind of energy. Despite the sweetness of the Aquarian new moon, you know? So over here with this significant other, they might be, even though they're like radiating, this is like the energy of joy in some ways. Deep down, my feeling is they are actually sensitive. They are actually aware of what's going on, but part of it is that they don't want to deal with it because part of it is that they can't because you are not them, they are not you, and they don't want to completely dissolve themselves into whatever you can't handle or whatever is crumbling in your life, in your world, because that's going to like mess up their joy and their happiness. So I feel an expanding separation energy type of thing here, which deep down inside they would be sensing as a sort of a reluctance, like, damn, like they wouldn't even want to come, like, oh, this is going to sound awful, Saj, but you know how when people start going down, let's say you're going into a bit of a downer here, a lot of times people kind of like, I don't want to be around you when you're going down. I'd rather go out and have fun. And they just kind of like, and then you're left with all of this, okay? Because they just want to be happy. And they might be feeling things like regret and remorse about like, oh, maybe I screwed up or something. Maybe I'm not the best mate, but I'm damned if I'm going to let that stop me from being happy. Oh dear, poor Sag. Oh, this is awkward. But I'm not going to allow myself to feel miserable because they're having a problem over here. I'm just going to acknowledge that deep down, maybe I could have done something different. Maybe we could have done something different, and we've lost the love. We've lost it. Things have kind of like gone down the tube for a while. It's not, destroyed and gone forever because there's always a little Ace of Cups here waiting for you. It's just that to me, this whole thing feels like a sort of ooh kind of energy. And then, wherever they are, whatever they're doing, they're fine. They just don't want to be around whatever deep, intense transformations and tectonic shifts that are happening in your life because it's probably too uncomfortable for them. So what about the core here? So my feeling is that you are left wondering, what the heck am I supposed to do? With the Queen of Pentacles, there is wealth, there is abundance in terms of love, because I see Pentacles as tokens of love here. And so you're left. Remember, this is not a couple's reading. It's all about you, Sag. We're just allowing them to be a character in your movie. Okay, so my feeling here with the Queen of Pentacles is that you're in a situation where you've got all sorts of, uh, you know, valuable ingredients to a relationship or to the relationship. You've got your own most awesome self, and they're over here being their most awesome self in their own way. It's just that with the shifting and the grinding that's happening, by the way, I see February as a month of deep shifting, and it's very, very lopsided, and it's very, very wobbly. You can see all about that on the astrodoodle reports, okay, for February. So it puts you in a position where you might be really, really dealing with issues of balance, like, whoa, okay, whoa, 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 or whoa, whoa kind of energy. And that's your problem. You've got to deal with it. You can't blame it on them. And so you're left with wondering, like, what is it that I've got that really, really works in the relationship? Okay, what am I supposed to do with all these talents and gifts, all the good stuff that we've had, all the stuff that we've earned and built up and done in our best efforts? Okay, let's just say we've made best efforts here. But to me, this feels like there's a lot in question with the Queen of Pentacles. A lot is being pondered here about, well, what are we supposed to do now with all our talents and gifts and resources and assets and visible measures of love, given the situation? Okay, let's have a look. Okay, my feeling is be extremely careful right now. With the Seven of Swords here, what I'm feeling is kind of a karmic influence. I don't know how else to describe it. It's almost like, as we evolve and grow in life and relationships as individuals, as an individual, and in the context of relationships, where you have like this living thing here, okay? This is a living, breathing thing, and it is generating energy. And what's coming out of it, to me, it feels as your reader, it's like it's a stark realization that, wow, everything is not exactly as it seems. And what I thought was a relationship, okay, I'm pretending to be you, Sag, now. What I thought was a relationship is not what I thought it was. It's shifting and changing right under my feet as we go. And there's a part of me which would want to like salvage what I can. There's a part of me which feels like, well, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to salvage what they can and get away with it and leave me high and dry? Am I seeing that reflection of myself coming back to me from them? Am I actually the hijacker here? Am I the mischief maker? And I've been blind to it, or I've never wanted to admit it, that I was in this whole thing all about me for me and me only, and what I could get out of them. Oh no, oh no, oh no. This is very slippery. It feels very, very awkward to handle. And so my take on this, Sagittarius, is to be very careful as you go through the month, especially pay attention to what happens around the 13th and the 14th when the moon is in Gemini, your energy of opposition. And feel the fear. Feel it all, absorb it in, put words to it, name it, language, and everything. And then try to figure out and understand what this means for you. Like, what am I losing here? What am I gaining? What are they losing? What are they gaining here? And how is this happening right in front of my nose without me having been aware of it before? So to me, it feels like there's a lot of mystery that's being uncovered here and revealed here. And it was probably like invisible or buried or denied for a long time. And all of a sudden it's coming to the surface. Well, not suddenly, but it is coming to the surface. And that puts the whole, to me, it looks like that puts the whole relationship in jeopardy. No matter how much value you have invested, no matter how much you feel that you value them and you feel that they value you, there's something clearly out of whack here where you need to be very, very careful. Okay, that's you, Sag. Be very, very careful. In some ways, you're very, very vulnerable. In some ways, they might be very vulnerable to you and your own tumultuous shifts here. Either way, whatever it is, be extremely careful. Okay, it's like a relationship on black ice right now. Okay, so everything might feel it's okay. You know what black ice is, okay? I'm not going to go and try to describe it, but it's very, very precarious conditions where it can be very difficult to control and do things effectively. So just be very careful. Consider every thought, word, and deed very, very carefully. Try to understand very clearly what are you doing, what are you trying to do, how are you trying to do it, and observe very, very carefully in a very, very neutral manner. What are they trying to do? So it's okay for you to be like this. It's okay for you to be perhaps very, very deep in separation right now while you try to figure this stuff out. There's a lot of stuff that has to be figured out here that can only be figured out by you, not by them, not by anyone else, not even by Terra Lumination. You have to figure this stuff out yourself. If you want to, you can come here, you know what to do. But for now, observation and care is very important. All right, bye-bye. All the best. You can handle this. All right, bye.